All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome. Thank you. Thank you very much for having us here. More importantly, thank you for being here tonight. So just so you know, the cameras are live. We're going to be on television for the next 2 hours, from 7 to 9 o'clock. We're going to go right through to 9 p.m., and then we'll end it, but we're going to stay here. We won't necessarily all run out for about another half hour. Our goal tonight, just so you know, is to answer as many questions as we can possibly answer. We didn't come here tonight to make any speeches. I brought this incredible group of men and women, our cabinet here, whom you'll meet in just a little bit, and what they're here for, and what we're hoping tonight will be like. But what we'd really like to do, and we've done this now, tonight is our 7th town hall, as we start each one off with a pule, and I can't think of anybody better, and I know you all know who he is, Pastor Alan Cardenas, tonight to start us off. Pastor Alan.
All right. With that said, thanks again for coming, everybody. With that said, let's ask God's blessings and as we gather here tonight. So with that said, let us pray. Father, we thank you, Lord God, for bringing us together. Lord, we pray that you would just touch us and bless us. Help us to come together as a community to just find just amazing, awesome solutions to the pain and the problems out there in our community. We pray that, you just touch us and bless us with your aloha in such a way that at the end of the meeting, all of us will walk away inspired with the hope that comes from you. So, Lord, thank you for bringing everybody here tonight, and thank you for blessing our time here together. We pray all these things in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen.
Thank you. Thank you, Pastor. Is Diego Carranza here? I don't see him. Ordinarily, this is a point in the evening when we introduce you to some of our youth commissioners. It's one of the things that we decided we wanted to do when we first came into office. And but I don't see him here, so he's not going to be up. Has Captain Andrew Ring showed up yet? We had somebody from the military. We wanted to have a military representative tonight in anticipation of some of the questions you might ask. So they're not here. And I don't think any elected officials are in the room yet. When they come, I promise to introduce them. I'm anticipating that Andrea Cipolla will be here, along with a few other people, but we'll see what happens. Okay, so let's kind of get into this. This is your evening. Our commitment to you is to try to make this worthwhile. If you're in this room tonight, I'm going to make the assumption that you love where you live here. This is your home. This is your community. That you have really serious concerns and other things that you hopefully want to have a voice to, and we want you to have that voice tonight. So let me say something here before I turn it over and meet the team behind me. We didn't come tonight to make any speeches. Okay, we want to answer questions, and to that extent, I do not want to be rude to anybody, but I can tell you from experience that sometimes when people get up to a microphone, they want to make a long speech, and we don't have the time for that. And not only that, we want to answer as many. So kind of the request, if you will, is when you get up here, I understand that you might have to have or set some context to your question. I get that, and that's okay. But I don't want to be rude, but I will tell you, if you get a little bit long-winded, I'm going to cut in and say, what is your question, please? Is that fair? Okay? And that way we can answer as much as possible. And we've had some really good success at pretty much fulfilling that in every one of the previous 6 we've done. Secondly, there's no need to form a line. We will get to everybody. And because if you form a line, people in the back can't see. It's not good. It's so what I would ask you to do is, we'll start off with the first person, and then, if you want to come in your chair, just come up afterwards. We'll balance it out, or maybe come up here, sit here. That's good. And so far, we've had really good compliance this year. The long line, if you will, it doesn't work. First of all, it's not cool. So we'll just do it that way. And the other thing that I'm going to ask for is that we get the fact that in a town hall meeting like this, that there's a lot of passion. And we appreciate and respect that passion. All I ask is that we keep our discourse with each other tonight civil. We will be civil back to you, okay? But we want to make it like that. And those are the only requests. No long speeches, no lines, and let's keep it civil. Other than that, you can ask us anything. Nobody's here to filter any question that you might ask. We didn't say write it down, we'll take a look at it and see if we want to answer it. You come up here, it's open mic, okay? The caveat to that is that we reserve the right to tell you the truth, which is what we're going to do. It may not be what you want to hear, but we didn't come tonight to pander. We came tonight to answer questions and to be as honest with you as we possibly can. Now, we're not going to solve a lot of things in this kind of a forum. Two things are going on. One, you're going to have the benefit of making a contact with the expertise in the city, which is why these men and women are up here, from a leadership standpoint, and the follow-up. And I think I told you, not only is Olelo, we live on Olelo right now, but also we record each and every one of these sessions. So we do that follow-up. We did it last year, and we're going to do it this year. So just know that as well. Councilwoman Andrea Topola just walked in the room. Councilwoman Andrea Topola. Councilwoman Andrea Topola, I don't want to do this to you, but before we begin the program, I want to give you the microphone and say a few words. I realize you just walked in, but I know that you're not shy.
Test, test.
Is it?
Test, can you hear? What's up, Nanakuli? How you guys doing? Oh my gosh, it's a long day. There was so much traffic. So, welcome. Here we have the mayor and 10 million people sitting in front of us. So I hope you guys have 10 million questions to ask. I think for me, like the three main priorities, and I've worked with the mayor and the administration, really is public safety, homelessness, and housing. There's a lot of other things that I'm working on, but those are tops, right? And I think with the homeless outreach that we've been doing, and I see people, I see Calaho West people, there's a lot of churches, a lot of organizations that have been helping out with that. And we've specifically been going from, Kawaihona Depot, just moving, and trying to house as many people as possible. So can we just put our hands together for those who are helping to house our homeless? Thank you. I see River of Life walking in, and they're also a place where we host our homeless outreach. Secondly, with housing, it is the thing we have very, very little deeply affordable. So not just affordable, but deeply affordable. And I think that the only new one that's coming up, which everyone's been asking me about, is the one in Kapolei. And the studios start at $500, which that's like deeply affordable. But we still have a lot of need for that. And lastly, I'm glad that I see Major Beckley, I see HPD here, because let's be honest, crime's on the rise. Last year we had shootings every single month, if not a murder as well as the shooting or a stabbing. And so there's a lot that we've been trying to do with D8, but as well with the mayor. And so I just want to thank the city administration. I will say that I do make a lot of noise for the things that we need, and I relentlessly go after what this community deserves, because we have been for too long a dumping ground, and we can't be that anymore. We can't. And I know the mayor stands by that. He stands by trying to provide us with the resources that we need. So ask the tough questions. We have the guys, and he's the guy that can give the answers to the tough questions. So thank you, Mayor, for the time. One more round of applause for our mayor, please.
No, thank you. No. We love Andrea because she's a fighter, and she represents you well, and I'm really pleased that she's here tonight. Captain, I'm going to bring you up if you don't mind. Captain Andrew Ring, who's Chief of Staff from Joint Base Pearl Harbor, just to make the introduction. In fact, sir, you could, if we find a chair, you could sit up here tonight in the event that we have. One of the things that we're really proud of, that we looked at our relationship with the military as a real strategic opportunity for our community. And we've been able to forge really good relationships with the senior commands at all branches. And it really helped us, especially when we were dealing with the Mililani wildfires. But there have been a number of other things as well. So we've asked the captain to come tonight and make a brief introduction about who you are, what you do, but you're going to be here tonight to be our resident expert on anything that comes up military. Is that okay? All right.
So good evening. I want to thank Mayor for inviting me and thank for a chance to be here at this evening's town hall. My name is Captain Andrew Homer Ring. Right now, I'm the Chief of Staff for Joint Base Pearl Harbor Hickam. So essentially, the mini mayor of all things Pearl Harbor, running the base and all the operations that are there. I've had the privilege to live in Hawaii for almost the last 20 years. My kids have grown up here, went to high school here, but now left to go to college on the mainland, flying in tonight. So if you ask, is it a big deal for me to be here? He lands in 30 minutes, and he'll be sitting there at Honolulu Airport until I get back to get him. So, but we are trying to have more outreach, and the mayor is helping with that, trying to be a better steward, having better communications with the communities, because the communities not only are our neighbors, and we owe to be a good neighbor to the communities around us, but also everybody who works on the base lives and grows here in Hawaii. And so we have a responsibility not just to the neighbors, but to the people we work for and to care and provide for them. And so anything that we can do to improve and be a better partner with the islands that we have here and remain a privileged tenant of living and working here, we're going to do what we can. So thank you very much, sir.
So you can sit right over here. It's great. Okay, so without any further ado, let's start over here. And we'll start with you, Major. And we're just going to go through and meet the people.
Aloha. I'm Major Gail Beckley. I'm the district commander for District 8, which is the Kapolei, Makakilo, Eva Beach, all the way to Kaena Point, so the whole leeward coast.
Hello, everybody. My name is Mark Thompson. I'm the Assistant Chief from HPD. I'm oversee the Regional Patrol Bureau, which is basically from Makaha all the way up through the North Shore, all the way through Kahuku, and it ends at by Hawaii Kaisai.
Good evening. My name is Brian Gallagher. I'm the Deputy Director of the City's Department of Design and Construction. What we do is we work with the various city departments for, we do the heavy construction as opposed to kind of the various maintenance. It's road repaving, it's drainage canals. We fix and repair up police stations, fire stations, parks, various things like that. Thank you.
Good evening, aloha. My name is Andy Kawano, Director of Budget and Fiscal Services. I oversee the accounting function, treasury, real property taxes, purchasing, and payroll. So we handle all of the money coming in and out, and look forward to continue to meet all of you and answer your questions. Thank you.
Aloha and good evening. My name is Stephen Courtney, Deputy Director for Information Technology. My office provides the computing resources for these departments. We also provide applications to the public so that the public can get better access to the city services. Thank you.
Aloha and good evening. Edward Los Baños, Deputy Director, Department of Community Services. We administer all the federal money that comes through in the way of human services, homelessness to housing, aging, workforce development. We also administer the city's small grant program. Thank you for coming out tonight.
Okay, aloha kako. My name is Kehau Pu'u. I'm the Deputy Director of the Department of Parks and Recreation. So we are responsible for all of our parks, park facilities, also community gardens, our city trees, park trees, recreation programs like Summer Fun, which is coming up, and a lot of citywide events like yesterday's May Day at Kapi'olani Park. Aloha.
Aloha, everyone. I'm Kevin Auger. I'm the Deputy Director for the Mayor's Office of Housing. Pleasure to be here. Thanks.
Aloha, my name is Ka'ili Trask O'Connell, and I am the Executive Director of MOCA, which is the Mayor's Office of Culture and the Arts. Thank you so much for having us here tonight. Mahalo.
Aloha, everybody. I'm Donna Puna of DPP, Department of Planning and Permitting. I'm also the Mayor's Rep for the Waianae Neighborhood Board. Good to see everyone here. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Kira Shushon. I'm the Chief Data Officer for the city. I am here in the role of trying to help streamline many of these departments from a data perspective. So I'm the back-end person. Thank you for being here.
Aloha, everyone. My name is Sam Moku. I am the Mayor's Homeless Coordinator. Glad to be here. Aloha.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Roger Babcock. I'm Director of the Department of Environmental Services. We take care of sewage and rubbish. Nice to see everybody this evening.
Thanks, Roger. Good evening. My name is Ben Sullivan. I'm the Deputy Director for the Mayor's Office of Climate Change, Sustainability, and Resiliency. We work on renewable energy and energy efficiency. We try to reduce greenhouse gas pollution across the island. We also get ourselves prepared for climate change impacts, which we all know are coming. Thank you.
Aloha, everybody. My name is Lloyd Yonenaka. I am the Executive Secretary for the Neighborhood Commission, and we oversee the neighborhood boards. I got a couple of my guys out here. You might recognize my staff. I know we have a lot of neighborhood board members here. Can I get a raise a hand if you're a neighborhood board member? How about a hand for these people? Yeah. Thank you very much for serving. And sorry, I got to do business while I'm here.
Hi, everyone. Thank you very much for coming tonight. My name is Keith Suzuka. I am the Deputy Director for the Department of Land Management. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Dita Hollyfield. I'm Director of Enterprise Services. I oversee the Waikiki Shell, the Blaisdell Arena, the Honolulu Zoo, and the 6 municipal golf courses. And just such an honor to be here tonight, and great to see my friends from the Raceway Park back in the old days. Good to see you guys.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Mike Formby, and I'm the Managing Director.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Krishna Jaram. I'm the Deputy Managing Director. Thank you for being here tonight.
Aloha, I'm Andy Sugg. I'm the Mayor's Chief of Staff, and I'm very happy to be here. Thanks for having us.
Good evening. Good evening. I'm Reed Yoshida, Assistant Chief of the Honolulu Fire Department. It's a real pleasure to be here tonight. Aloha.
Aloha, my name is Amy Asselby. I'm the Executive Director of the Office of Economic Revitalization. It's nice to see some of our partners here from the Waianae Economic Development Council. And if we can help any small business people or anyone wanting to be a business person, Kim is right outside the door with some information for you. But we are here to make Oahu a good place to do business. Thank you.
Hi, good evening. My name is Hiro Toya. I'm the Director for the Department of Emergency Management. We're responsible for coordinating the city's disaster preparedness and response.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Bugs Baguio, Assistant Director of Human Resources, and our primary job is to make sure we have enough people to assist everyone here with what they need to do to service the city. So if you're interested in working with us, we have Darcy outside the door. Please go see her. She has a whole list of jobs that we have open. Thank you.
Hello, good evening. My name is Ian Santi. I'm the Deputy Director of the Emergency Services Department. That's the emergency EMS, Ocean Safety, our health services, and our core program.
Aloha, I'm Roger Morton. I'm the Director of the Department of Transportation Services. We provide you with public transportation. We provide the bus, the handy van, and of course our new Skyline system. We're also responsible for traffic engineering, for traffic signals on the island. State owns most of the systems on Farrington, but we actually operate almost all the traffic signals on the island. We also do bike paths, we do pedestrians, we do complete streets. And I have the pleasure of sitting beside someone who's much more well-known than me, the Executive Director of HART.
Thank you. Good evening, Lori Kahikina, CEO and Executive Director of HART. So thank you. Thank you. So we're responsible for constructing the rail system. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Erwin Kawata. I'm the Deputy Manager at the Board of Water Supply. I also have the pleasure of serving as the Mayor's representative to the Nanakuli Neighborhood Board. Thank you all.
Aloha mai kako, Ernie Lau, Board of Water Supply. Aloha, everybody.
Aloha, everyone. I'm Warren Mamizuka, the Deputy Director for the Department of Facility Maintenance. We take care of all the roads, street lights, street signs. We actually perform all the street maintenance. So during the month of June and July, we'll be at the Ulehava stream cleaning that. So I just wanted to make that clear for everyone tonight. Thank you. Mahalo.
Thank you, Warren.
Aloha and good evening, everyone. My name is Harold Ned. I'm the Acting Public Communications Administrator for the Department of Customer Services. Our oversight responsibilities include the satellite city halls, the driver licensing centers, and public communications. I'm happy to assist with your questions tonight.
Thank you, Harold. And as I said, if anybody were to walk in the room, Senator Kurt Favela just walked in, right? He's still here. Did you leave? There he is, right there. Senator, thank you for being here. Thank you. Okay, lots of talent up here, lots of knowledge up here. I will try to answer if it's a question direct to me, but based on your question and a need to know, we'll just know I'll be calling up on our people. So who would like to come up first? Come on. We'll get to you, I promise you. Don't worry, we'll get to everybody. And would you please identify yourselves? That's the only other request we have.
Aloha everyone, Samantha D. Cord. I am the chair of the Nanakuli Ma'ili Neighborhood Board. My question is pertaining to the Waianae Police Station. Thank you very much for completing the fingerprinting process. I do believe that that helps to bring more officers to our district to patrol. But I wanted to ask, what is next in the process? Can you give us a short-term goal and a long-term goal to completing the Waianae Police Station?
Yeah. We can answer that too, but Major, why don't you come on up? But Mike, I'm going to turn to you on that, or who? Who you?
That's a very good question. We are processing prisoners now at the Waianae Station. We're still working on our second level. I think we just had a meeting this past weekend, and they'll address that part. But at least we're processing it like we used to before. We processed probably about like 60 since March 12th, I believe, when we got the machine. So I think they'll mention that.
Now, I should say one thing. This man that you're about to hear from, Mike Formby, he was very subtle in his introduction. Mike is the managing director. In the city, all the departments report to the managing director. Mike reports to me. That's how it works. He's our frontline guy. I said in football terms, he's sort of like our starting quarterback and the head coach. Only he's a pretty damn good starting quarterback. Okay, Michael.
Thank you, Mayor. Where's Andrea? Is she still here? So Andrea Topola, council member, put $2 million in the budget for the Waianae Police Substation, and we've actually released that money. So thank you for adding that to the budget. We had a meeting yesterday. The first $300,000 is going to the planning and design of the second floor facilities, and then the $1.7 million will be to build it out. And one of the things I learned yesterday, and I think Mayor might have learned this too, is that we didn't know that the second floor was built without a chiller. So they actually have to buy the air conditioning unit for the second floor in order to build it out. But that project is underway, and so we look forward to getting construction underway as soon as possible. And thank you, Andrea, for the council ad.
You know, we've done a tour of the building, and we understand sort of a half-finished building has its own, not to make a bad pun, chilling effect on the community. And it's our intention to build that building out. And at the same time, the good news is we're getting an uptick in our recruiting with police. We've been very open and transparent about our shortage in police officers. We're feeling encouraged about the future and the road ahead. But I can promise you, out here in the west side, in that particular police station is not an afterthought. We know how critical that is to the well-being of this community. As Andrew just talked about in public safety, for all the priorities that we have, and every one of these departments is a priority. If there's an overarching priority, number one is public safety. Please know that.
Did you answer your question?
Okay. Thank you. Okay, who's up? Edward.
Hey. Aloha.
Aloha.
And welcome to Hawktown, Nanakuli. You know, I was raised and born in Nanakuli. My family, I got my brother here, Manada Ed. My family came here in the 1930s. So just wanted to let you guys know how deep-rooted I am and my family in Nanakuli. Okay, first of all...
So do I make the introduction of Ed Warner, or do you do that?
You did it for me, Mayor.
Okay,
Thank you.
all right, okay.
Yeah, Ed Warner. But first of all, I want to thank HPD and Major Beckley, Major Tanaka, and the Traffic Division. I'm with DK Movement. I'm against fathers against drunk driving. We got mothers and I'm fathers. My son Kalana was killed in 2015. Graduated from Kamehameha High School. Graduated with with his daughter, our chief over there. So, you know how strong I'm for safety. This is it. You know, on the 27th, we brought sine waving to Nanakuli. I've been bringing them every time. You know, it doesn't matter to me who grumbles. I don't care. If you got a problem, you know where I live. Don't bother me. But I just want to thank HPD for supporting and for saving lives. We may never know how much lives we saved that night. 1, 2, or 3. I'm not too sure if 5 guys got arrested, kids not buckled in. It's about safety, man. Like you said, it's about safety. But that is said and done. I can address each and every one because in things that we need to get done in Nanakuli and things that we already got done. First of all, I wanted to see if there's any chance on the city coming up into our homestead and taking over our roads, not saying own them, but maintain them. I know I talked to John. John's not here, eh?
John Nouchi's not here. Roger's here.
Yeah, Roger's here. I mean, it's just, we want some accountability on our roads over here. On the homestead, on some wines, we always get shown last our community sometimes, I'm not mentioning it. But that's what, if the city can do that.
So let's get to that question, Ed. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Roger.
Well, Jane might be, or Warren might be better at this one than me, but we do maintain streets that are privately owned, even by Hawaiian Homelands. And we, our policy for streets is that we take them over if they're dedicated to the city, if they meet city standards.
Yes.
That's our rule. But beyond that, we will maintain streets. We have a few streets that are in the process of being reviewed right now in the area for taking over maintenance. But I'm speaking for DFM, really.
Let's have Warren come up. Thank you, Roger.
Hey, thank you. Good question. Yeah, so, these roads back here is actually owned by the state, Department of Hawaiian Homelands, yes. Right? But, if they're, like Roger said, right, it's supposed to be turned over if it was dedicated back to the city, it has to meet certain standards. But if a memo came in from the state requesting for, some assistance from the city for some improvements, we can actually take a look at it, have our team come out, and hopefully we can do maybe some mill and fill, maybe some pothole patching,
yes.
And some repairs. So I can get with you, give you my card, and we can start a conversation.
Thank you. I know I work alongside with Ed Sniffer, and I sit on a transportation board with DOT, and I try to find ways to make it safer. Not only in my community, but in different areas. I hate to say, but I was responsible for the speed humps you guys have to come through in Nanakuli. We put that up. We never care who in grumble. I talked to Ed. It was to do with emergency, and we got it up. That's how fast we got it. We need speed humps in Second Road. That's why if the city can take over, it would be good. Okay, one of my biggest is talking about landfill, right? We're not throwaway people.
Okay, so Ed, I'm just going to cut you off and tell you that we're on record of saying we're not going to put the landfill out on the west side.
Yes.
Okay? We're going to stand by that. We've made that commitment.
Yes.
All right. Now, just to give you some perspective, though, since we've been in office a little bit more than 3 years, the issue of the landfill came up right away. And once we cleared a lot of the stuff that was going on with COVID, which was a lot of the first year, we formed a landfill advisory commission. Yes. And they evaluated 6 sites. And they came back to us and said that after reviewing all 6 sites, they wouldn't go forward and recommend anyone. And just prior to that recommendation, a thing called Red Hill happened. And Ernie can speak to that or whatever.
Yeah, I understand.
But I can tell you in 3+ years of being mayor, the subject of water has never been more prominent in my life than the subject of water has been as a result of Red Hill, as a result of the aquifers, as a result of the options that we were left with. We then turned to the military that I just said a little while ago for some help for the lands that they owed. And the fact is we just announced recently, after hearing from Admiral Aguilino, the head of Indo-PACOM, that YPO was off the table. And that was the only one. The first possibility was Lualua, and we said it's in the wrong neighborhood. Not a possibility. We weren't going to put it in the west side. And the second was in Bellows. That was a non-starter for a lot of reasons. and wipe POs out. So as of tonight, right now, we have a extension on Waimanalo Gouch. We are in serious consideration and conversations with some other alternatives. This is akin to pulling a 50,000-pound rabbit out of a hat. Maybe that's an exaggeration. This is not an easy thing to get done, but we're determined to get it done. So right now, we don't have that answer. There are some possibilities, but we're not going to put it on the west side.
Okay, thank you for that. Yes. Another thing, I was involved with Act 73, right?
I should have said one question per person. I
Wait.
gave you two.
Okay.
But because I don't want to take the air out of the
Yeah.
room. You can come back and ask
Okay.
another one.
I just
Let's-
wanted to address Act 73.
Yes,
on the
Act 73.
half-mile buffer zone.
Act 73 is a challenge for us. That's just made it more so, you know, and that just adds to the degree of difficulty. So imagine all of our aquifers, all of our water supply is underground.
Yeah.
Then, on top of that, you have Act 73 with the buffer zones, which really makes the challenge that much greater. And we've exhausted the possibilities,
Yes,
at
I
least to this
understand,
point right now,
Yeah.
okay?
Because I know the challenge on our people that have been suffering since is on the federal government side, right? That people that live within the 1 mile have 10 years less than the average that live on the outside of that. It's not us saying, it's the federal government saying. But, you know, I'm just here to stand up for the keiki that cannot fight now and for the kupuna that cannot be here and fight. That's all I'm here. That's why I'm trying to keep Nanakuli as beautiful as can, like the old days.
Right. So when we came into office, just real quick, COVID was the big thing. And the definition of public safety that we just talked about took on a whole different meaning.
Yes.
And suddenly we were dealing with a disease that none of us could have imagined would be as lethal as it was. Fortunately, we got out of it in Hawaii with good numbers. But the danger was there for a long time. That same mindset about landfills and the possible exposure is right up there in that same thing about health and well-being of people from a public safety issue. It's not just all a police matter.
Yeah.
And that's why we're taking it as seriously as we can, Ed. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you,
for your
and
lea-
I can
and
stay
thank
here
you for your
and
lea-
address it.
and
I'll
thank
be
you for
back.
your- And thank you for your leadership in the community. Thank you, Ed.
Aloha, Mary, and your team, your quarterbacks, fullback. But I'd like to take this time.
You
to-
are?
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Mary. My name is Austin Salcedo. I'm from the west side. I've been
Yes.
here for over 63 years, sir.
Yes.
You know, born and raised here. And these places have changed dramatically. Keao Beach Park, I remember you, Mayor, being out there, Sam Moku, Andrew Topola, Laura Thielen, being out there at Keao Beach Park, looking at the chaotic look of it all. Took the years. We had came out with a resolution. Andrew came out with the resolution 22-151 to improve. We had secured $750,000 for the chain barriers that's around there now. The beautification of the park is there. Nobody's driving on the park no more, destroying the sprinkler system and everything. But I'll commend you on your team that's under you. You're the first mayor had done that, sir. I commend you.
Thank you. Okay.
With that said, sir, also
There's a lot
There's
more.
a lot.
There's a lot more.
There's a lot more of the type of bad behaviors.
Yeah.
Last year, during a town hall meeting we had in Waianae, I met with your quarterback and I asked her, he asked me actually a question, Austin, what is attracting the bad behaviors in this area? So I tell you what, we was working on the thing, and I took your halfback there. He walked with it. The
I'm
ideas
sorry,
and
guys, for the
everything.
football. I could have come up with a different sport. I'm sorry.
Hey,
I'm sorry.
Michael Farmby.
Yeah.
Krishna Jairam.
Yeah.
Okay. This is a good supportive team that you
Yeah,
have.
great.
We went out, my wife and I, we worked with the legislature. They came out with a Senate Resolution 53 that will actually comb and create a working group with the Department of Health to see, to work with the county to develop a working group. And that's what I want to ask you. For all the group living facilities that's around this island, but more so on the west side that we're concerned about.
Yes.
Okay? We're wondering, why are they ending up at our beaches? We have no idea what's going on. So SR 53, I put that in their hands already. But I asked you, Mayor, to create this city, on the city county side, a working group. I nominate Krishna, I nominate Donna Puna, I nominate Sam Moko, plus 2 more neighborhood board officials from each district to be on this working group to collaborate with the Department of Health, Alcohol and Drug and Abuse
All right,
Division.
I hear you. Austin, this is great. Michael, is there anything you want to say to this? Krishna does. Austin, I like it. I like it.
I appreciate that, sir.
Hey, Mr. Sunset, it's good to see you. Thank you for the kind words.
Oh, no.
So we've already reached out to DOH. We've let them know we're ready to join the working group as soon as they're ready to stand up. I'm sure Don is willing. I'm sure that Sam is willing. So we'll join in as soon as they're ready.
Thank you. And the nominees for on the neighborhood board, I got Philip Garnaban here, and I got Richard Lanford if he's over here.
Okay.
But I want to give another thing too, Mayor.
Go ahead.
The bad behaviors, we did a study. The intersection, because your shortfall of HPD officers is way too down.
Right.
And they are facilitating all the 911 calls made into our area, particularly this commercial area where the old Coronets that go down Makaha Valley and Farrington Highway, the beach, and 7-Eleven. We took a study, sir. 2023, 762 calls, 911 calls, was dispatched to this intersection area. We're studying right now, what is the attraction of these bad behaviors? Because one call can consist of 4 squad cars or more.
Yeah.
That's taking precious resources just to this one location.
So, Austin, since you're up here,
Yes, sir.
you know, volunteering some of these people and wanting to put a commission together, and since I've been out here now multiple times on neighborhood watch walks, why isn't the community doing more? The police can't do everything.
That's right, sir.
So why don't you guys deal with it?
Oh, we did, sir. Up in Noholio Road in Kalawaha, there's a business that's
I
coming
mean,
over here.
I believe in taking back your community.
No, that's it. What we did was we created a petition. There was a business operation that's coming up in Kalawaha and Noholio. And we you want to address that, sir?
I think if you've got bad behaviors going on, and you want to deal with it, okay, and you want to deal with it. Say that again. What are we here for? I just said we don't have police for everything. That's all. We're just talking about that. You have an officer right there. You're talking about a lot of bad behaviors. I'm simply telling you the communities everywhere, and even communities on this island, deal with that issue. That's what neighborhood watches are about.
Mayor, we took a proactive approach rather than being reactive. We took a petition signed by 2 streets because of this Kailua and Kaniaway operation that's bought property, agriculture property in there, trying to make clean and sober houses for 18 to 25-year-old individuals.
Right.
On our street, there's no street lights and everything, sir.
Okay.
So we created a petition. Your office managers, they got the copy of this petition. Our Andrew Tupola, councilwoman, stood by her community and supported this petition. And to everybody else, I have the petition in my hands. Noholio, Kalawaha, they want to get the shelter and rise into our area, but without any city permitting process or protocols. They bought the property first, then now they're asking forgiveness now, later. That's a wrong turnaround. So I have the petition. You folks want to get involved with this, come to me. I'll have my petition ready for anybody to sign this.
All right.
This is a proactive approach, sir.
I appreciate that, Austin. I like that. That's what I'm encouraging. I'm encouraging that.
I understand.
Because government can't do everything. We're trying to be as open, as sensitive in everything we can possibly do. But I know there's finite amount of ability or resources. And I'm simply saying, when you deal with bad behaviors, I would tell you guys can help influence that.
I tell you what, that's all thing you have to do is ask the question, and we work with your team and supportive, especially
Okay.
with Major
Good.
Gil Beckley.
Good.
She's awesome.
I appreciate your leadership.
Thank you. That's
Thank
all
you,
I have,
Austin.
sir.
Thank you.
Oh, marijuana. Thank you for your support for downsizing marijuana.
Yep.
Because our district House Representative 45, he supported that thing.
Yeah.
That would have destroyed my grandchildren.
You saw where we came down on that. We were very strong.
Very good. I applaud that.
Thank you. Sir.
Good evening. My name is James Cowles.
Hi, James.
Mr. Mayor, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And all the board members over here, thank you for showing up. I got to say, you're the first mayor I have ever known that comes out to the communities. All these other past mayors, they could care less. They don't come out here. But that's not my question anyway.
Thank you.
But my question is the lifeguards.
Yep.
I have family as a lifeguard. And I feel something. Now, this is my opinion. I feel that they should be a standalone entity.
We agree.
No voter ballot, no voter, anybody that don't put it on a vote, for a vote, just put it out there. Reason why I'm saying this, because right now I see and I hear, and I talk to a lot of the lifeguards out here, they're having problems right now. I'm not downgrading the EMS, because they do an outstanding job also. But with the two entities together, the EMS has taken all the money away from the lifeguards. Because right now, the lifeguards are out this side now. What they got to do is they got to go all the way into town, take parts off their jet skis, and come out here and fix them and get the jet skis running. And I feel that's not right.
So, James, I really appreciate this question. And there's a lot of misinformation out there. I'm going to turn it to Mike, and then based on what Mike says, I might add a few more things. We're very much in favor. I said it during my State of the City back on March 14th. We spent a year with a task force evaluating that. The strong recommendation, the clear recommendation, was the time had come to split EMS and ocean safety. And not only that, over the last couple of years, we've been very proactive with ocean safety in helping them expand that workforce so we could cover dawn to dusk, a lot of other things that we did. I want to let Mike answer it, that I might want to say something. There are some things I'm precluded from saying tonight because suddenly this thing has become a cause célèbre in the newspaper. That's not the reality of the situation, I can promise you that.
But I'd just like to say one thing before it goes over to him.
Okay.
My opinion is Mr. Titchen, I've never met the guy, I don't know who the guy is, but I feel that he should be put back on the job. He did a fan. All of our lifeguards out this side support him 100%. Yes. And I feel he should be put back on to help support these guys.
James, I appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you for that. Just a little bit of information. Councilmember Topola has been a big, strong supporter of a standalone department, and we have other people in the audience. Raquel Achiu is here. Raquel, raise your hand. Huge supporter of a standalone department, been fighting for that for years. The mayor and I did stand up a task force. We went to the first meeting and the last meeting. At the last meeting, there was a unanimous recommendation for a standalone department. The quickest way to do that is through the mayor's reorganization power under the charter. And that's what Heidi Tsuneyoshi recommended in 2021, and that's what the state legislature recommended 2 times in 2023, and that's what we're going to do. And what Councilmember Topola is helping with is that she's going to put the formation of the Oversight Commission to the voters, because neither the council nor the mayor have the ability to form a commission that oversees a department. Only you, the voters, can do that. So I suspect it'll be on the ballot in November, and you should vote yes, that you support an oversight commission over the lifeguards, and that commission will then interview and do a search for the chief of the department, and they'll pick that chief, and that chief will sit on our cabinet. And as for John Titchen, that process that he's going through right now, it's a 30-day process max, and so we'll see how it comes out. But you know, Mayor and I have been very supportive of ocean safety the entire time, and we've been very supportive of John Titchen. Yeah. But we need to go through this personnel investigative process, and it takes 30 days at the max.
I know you've been a big supporter of the lifeguards, and I know these lifeguards out this side, they risk their lives every single day.
These are the best watermen in the world.
Yes.
The water out here is the most challenging in the world.
Yes.
I have profound respect for our lifeguards.
Yes.
And I can't talk about a personnel matter publicly, but I can simply tell you that what Michael said is exactly what we want to do. There are limitations to my power. So once we got the recommendation from the task force split, I wanted to simply split it. We're not against the commission. We're not against that. They can put it on the ballot. We wanted to expedite it using the mayor's authority. Somewhere in there, that got really misconstrued. And that's all I can say right now, except we will continue, just as we are with HPD, just as we are with our firefighters, and just as we are with ocean safety and the EMS. In the spirit of public safety, these are the people, when the chips are down, that you count on being there to save your life or the life of someone you love. So we get it. I promise you, James. We got, when I talk about respect, I have great respect for our ocean safety people.
Okay. I got a couple more questions, but I'll do it later.
Come back. Come
I'll
back.
do it.
I
I'll come
want
back
to
later.
get people
Yeah.
in here. Okay.
No,
Thank
no
you.
problem.
Okay.
But I thank you very much. I appreciate
James,
it.
thank you. Thank you for kind words. Mr. Ganaban.
Thank you, Mayor. This actually question goes back to Chief of Staff of Pearl Harbor, and it's because of housing. The city and county and the state of Hawaii are short on housing, sir. And so we know a lot of the militaries are offered BAH to go live off of off-base housing. So we want to know if there would be a partnership that can be done to allow empty military homes to be available for civilian, not government staff, but civilian staff to offset the need for housing.
The best answer I can provide for that. So, if you're not familiar, all the military housing that's on the island of Oahu, we turned over to a public-private partnership, and right now the company that runs that is Ohana Military Communities, and they control the housing. The military is just a partner in that in terms of we work with them to validate their budgets every year and how they're managing the occupancy rate. I do know that there are some communities, like out on the Pearl City Peninsula, where they're allowing either government employees or retirees to move into, but I'm not aware of any situations where they've allowed any civilian member to make that application. But I'm happy to take that back to the OMC leadership. They meet with me every week, and I'll let them know that there is a desire out in the civilian community, because I do know sometimes there is occupancy that they're not filling, and they're making efforts to get that through the military. But I'll let them know that there is probably a desire from the civilian side if they could make that available to advertise that effectively and let that be known.
Yes, because that would be definitely helpful in helping offset, because as your new military members come in every 4 years, their occupancy increases on the outside community. And so while the inside community, military housing community is decreasing. So that I think that would be helpful with the offset, immediate offset of what housing crisis that we may be having in our area.
I understand. I'll take that back to our community.
Thank you. And then
And we'll follow up.
Thank you, Mayor.
We will follow up with a specific answer.
And Mayor, just heads up.
Go ahead.
When you give the Waianae and Nanakuli boys permission to do violence,
I know
against
what I'm
violence,
saying.
Okay,
I know
just
what I'm
understand.
saying.
Just I just
Okay.
don't want.
Yeah,
I want
and
to
I
make
know
sure we
what
do
I'm
it.
saying.
Okay.
You know, that's the reason why I'm saying it.
Okay, boys, you guys know.
Because since when do you have to succumb and have bad people get their way like that?
Yeah,
Since
I
when?
understand, sir. I understand. Okay.
Beyond
Thank you.
that, I can't say anything else. Message delivered.
God bless.
Hi, my name is Zeb Jones.
Hello, Zeb.
I'm here representing people that can't represent themselves because I can't find a parking place for handicapped people. We're in a minority out there trying to find a place to park. I see people come in and out that there's nothing wrong with these people. You know, I can't get out of my car. My wife, she goes to the store. I stay in the truck. I give up. In some states, they haul cars off if you don't have a valid parking sticker. They charge $500. There's nobody checking here. What's wrong with it?
Right.
And I appreciate that they're there, but just sit there and watch who comes and goes. You know, shit, I can't get out of the car. I don't have I can't find a parking place. You can go in the store and come back before I can find a parking place. Number two,
all right.
I
want Roger to address that. Zeb, stay there. It's okay. I know you're hurrying. Let Roger address that though on the handicap parking.
So I know that you're talking about commercial disabled parking spots, right? In shopping centers and stores, places like that. Just so I understand. And you're talking about the enforcement of that. HPD can enforce that. I think there were set up some mechanism within the disabled community where people were, in essence, they were deputized to support that. And I certainly would do what we can to support it too. It makes me sick too when I see people that are in disabled parking spots that that just don't look like they have. I run the handy van and I did it for many years. I know kind of, but I also learned that there are a lot of people with disabilities where they're not as visible all the time, and they get the placards through the state. I'm sympathized, but that, I know that both HPD, it's a large fine if you're parking in a disabled parking without a proper permit. A lot of times I see a lot of permits in the car, and I'm not sure who really got them, whether they got them for grandma or for what, but I don't know what I can say other than that if there's a specific spot, let us know and we'll talk to the chief.
Yeah, HPD could put on 50 more officers if they just enforce the fines on people that don't belong there. Number two, I'm a 100% disabled veteran. It took me 54 years to finally get the VA to give it to me. A lot of states give us 100% break on license plates. We get 45 here. We gave 100% of us, not 45%. Never mind.
So what is the question on that?
Why can't 100% veterans get a break on our registration for our cars? All these other states do it.
Okay. Harold, you want to address that at all?
Poor?
'Cause active duty pays $25. Harold, I don't know if you're prepared to answer that.
No, but what I can do is I could talk with you offline about a path to a good outcome for that question.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
that's not
Let's
asking
hear-
a lot for what we gave.
No, look, and I just got back from Washington, D.C. last night, and part of my 3 days there was dealing with the Veterans Administration on Vashon on homeless vets. And actually, we were doing very well with our homeless vets in Hawaii, but still yet, there's much more to be done. And those other considerations, like you're talking about, Zeb, we can certainly look into, and we should talk to Harold afterwards. I mean, look, that's actually probably at a federal and state level, but if there's something, because we actually just collect the money for the state when it comes to registrations.
EGA supposedly signed the law, but what happened? It got cut down to 45%. It's not a lot of money to you, but we have to live on what little crap the VA gives us. Try to live on that.
I wouldn't trivialize the amount of money. I get it. I do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I got to go. I can't sit here myself.
All right. Thank you, Zeb.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
You're
James
welcome.
T. Manaku, senior concerned parent, grandparent, and great-grandparent.
And what's your first name?
James.
James.
Yeah, Manaku. We have a problem with this thing called zoning. Why do we have that word called zoning? I came in here in the early 60s. It was rural country and agriculture. Today we have all of these long houses from Nanakuli to Makaha. And then they just want to approve them. What happened, Mr. Mayor?
Well, the zoning question is really, should I go to Don on the zoning, or it's really a state type of thing? Don, come on.
Okay, but wait.
Let's answer your first question. Why do we have zoning?
Okay, but let me tell you the problem with that zoning. Yeah?
Okay.
Problem with the zoning is police, fire, and ambulance. Yeah? Because back in the 60s, before anybody came into any community with our councilwoman, before anybody came into a community to develop anything, police, fire, and ambulance, and the schools were they come.
James, just make sure you talk into the microphone.
Yeah.
Because
so what they did, Mr. Mayor, was they went to the police, fire, and ambulance and made sure that there was enough of them.
Yeah.
In the 60s, before development came into the community. And then all of a sudden, what happened? All of that disappeared. Today, developers can come into any community and disrupt the community, and no need to worry about the police, fire, and ambulance. It's us, the community, that have to worry about those people.
Yeah.
Why is that, Mr. Mayor?
Well,
that's my
I'm
question.
James, I'm not so sure that's accurate.
No,
So
that is
yeah.
accurate, Mr. Mayor. I'm 77 years old.
Yep. We're the same age.
Well, I've been living here since all of this time, and all I've seen, and I've been coming to this to the city council for many years, And I can tell you, every district that I've seen, I have never seen any developer
Okay, I get it.
made enough police, fire, and ambulance to any of the development they came. So all I've seen is lack of police, fire, and ambulance, even the schools. So
Okay.
that's the biggest problem I've seen all of the communities have. So how can we correct this? It would be
Don.
nice to see this happen, that when
So-
somebody comes and develops in our community, make sure
Well,
that we
yeah.
have all of this
And James,
covered.
I don't want to take anything away from what you're saying, but urban planning is pretty sophisticated. Let me have Don take a shot at this, okay?
Yeah, aloha, Mr. Monaku. So part of the process that DPP oversees is when there's new developments or even when people come in for a building permit, it is routed through the various agencies, whether it's HPD or HFD, to ensure that the resources are there to support the development in general. And I think that, part of it is...
Because we make a lot of money.
Yeah, but that is the process that we try to ensure that there are sufficient resources like fire, ambulance, etc. when developments are made. I don't know if maybe it's the perspective that you don't see as much services, but that is part of the process, even at the city council, right? When you're there and you see some of these
Look at
projects.
Waianae. We have a beautiful police station. We don't have enough policemen there.
Right, so that might be a resource issue, a staffing issue that we're working on as well, that other agencies can speak to.
How long we had them?
Yeah.
Well, James, we just said a little while ago, we're addressing that now. We're addressing it on a couple of levels. One, the build out of the building. As Mike said, we have to put an air conditioning in there, but also we're doing a lot in the recruitment of our police officers. We're trying, man. You know what? We're trying. Okay? We're down 400. Right now, we currently have 1,800 police officers. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to add something, and I haven't
These guys
checked.
work hard. I mean, these guys really work hard.
Yeah, I want to respond, and I haven't had a chance to talk to police and fire tonight, but I'll tell you my personal observation is similar to yours, that as we develop communities, we don't necessarily keep up with the core services that serve those communities, and we need to do a better job of doing that. And I'm not going to use the Waianae community as an example, because I think you know that much better than me, but I'll just give you an example that we're all very aware of. And that's if you go downtown Honolulu and Kaka'ako, they have built 40-story buildings all over the place, and yet we don't have more fire trucks with the capacity to reach the upper floors. So it's the same thing in Waianae as it is in Kaka'ako. We need to do a better job.
I rode an ambulance from Waiawa.
Right.
And I live in Makaha.
Right. So I'm just telling you, we understand the problem, and we need to do a better job, and we're committed to do that. And one of the ways that we need to do it is that when it goes to city council and they talk about community benefits that the developers have to give back to the community, we should start looking at community benefits for first responders.
Wow.
So I think it's a great question.
It's a great question.
Something better than that. Because, wow, we're hurting.
Well, we're talking about trying to solve the problem. You hear what Mike said. So we're not in disagreement with what you're saying, but I don't know, as Don told you. Well, James, thank you for the question. Senator.
Good evening, Mayor. Representing my family in the Valley, I have the concerns. One of the concerns is not to repeal Act 73. When I was part of the Land and Water, we had enacted Act 73 to protect the families in this area from PVT. PVT is a recycling establishment, not a landfill. But they decided not to expand the recycling system and decided to just bury everything because it's cheaper. Repealing Act 73 would be more devastating in not passing Bill 39 on the repealing of us family members not paying land tax in the area to compensate all the illness that they had over the years. You already know, because we talked about this before, some members of you talked about the 10 years less in the 1.5 mile radius on people's lives. Regular people in Honolulu area, 72, 82, over here 10 years less. Going forward, if you're going to close Waimanalo Gulch in 2028, and you're going to repeal Act 73, takes 5 to 8 years for a landfill. You guys already know that. That's the problem we're having. By doing that, PVT is going to be the area, and then you guys are going to have to force to expand. And I know community members came and talked to you at other community meetings, and you was very receptive to them. My family told me that you was. But I had a bill to put in a real waste-to-energy plant. H-Power is not a waste-to-energy plant. Everybody said we don't want enough Opala. Of course, we cannot put nothing at the plant because they don't let you throw away ice boxes, bed frames. They tell you what you can take to H-Power. That's not a complete recycling. The waste-to-energy plant will solve with a lot of issues that we don't need. We won't need a landfill, period. So 8 to 10 years, 4 years of completion of the waste-to-energy plant. We have the land. The state has the land. The state has the land for it, but we just need somebody to pull the trigger. So, Mayor, this is something that I bring to you and your administration. If you guys are willing to pull the trigger, I'm pretty sure my colleagues at the state would help you guys with the land.
Yeah, thanks, Senator. Right now we're not planning to try to repeal Act 73 necessarily. The idea that we're working on now is to try and work with the legislature to perhaps carve out an exception or something to free up some possibilities for us. A repeal doesn't really make sense. There's a reason why that act was passed. So that's maybe, I think, our response to that.
Yeah, Senator, I just want to make sure it's very clear to the audience. We've never proposed repealing Act 73. The word repeal has never come out of our mouths. We have talked to a couple of senators about the possibility of some amendment that would allow certain sites that we know are not over the aquifer but do violate Act 73 to be considered. And none of those are on the Waianae coast. And even if we did carve out some exception under Act 73, the mayor has committed that we will not come back to the Waianae's coast. So that's absolutely for sure. I promise you that.
Thank you.
But I just want the community to understand we have two options. Nothing is left that does not violate the Board of Water Supply's no pass zone or Act 73. We have no option but to do one or the other. We're either going to put it over the aquifer or we're going to get an exception to Act 73. But in either case, it's not going to be on this coast. That commitment, the mayor's made it, and we're not going to change.
So the reason why I bring this up, Mayor, Makakilo quarry is going to be done pretty soon. There's a big hole over there. Makakilo people in the community, a couple of people is afraid. Same like how they didn't want to take it down to Kipapa Quarry. That was something that way before you was even mayor talked about. But we had a chair of the city council named Ikaika Anderson, and wasn't going to happen under his watch. But that was the area that everybody that did this panel that they had, choose them, number one. Never happened. So going forward, I understand all of the restrictions that they have. No more on the Waianae side or any side from Waipahu to Makaha. Because if they try to do the quarry over there, it's the same problem you're going to have. But really, I'm going to tell you guys why.
We're good on that.
Yeah.
We're good. And we've had conversations with the quarry, just so you know.
All right, thank you.
But I don't want to get ahead of ourselves. So before you came in, and I have great respect for who you are, I said no speeches up here. But because it's you, go ahead.
Oh, shucks.
One more question.
No. This is not mine. I'm going to give it to you.
Part. Okay.
Sorry. I'm going to give you this, man. I'm not going to read the whole thing.
Okay.
I'm going to give it to you so you can have it.
Anything else?
Sorry.
Roger, anything else you want to say?
Yeah, I just wanted to talk about waste to energy. So our department, we, of course, collect all the rubbish, and then, of course, we have to deal with it. And, so currently, we have H-Power, and we do convert the waste to energy and ash. We can't burn everything. The main function of H-Power is to reduce the volume of the rubbish, the opala, to only 10% of what it is before you burn it. And that makes the disposal a lot easier, right? There's less material to dispose. We currently have in design and in permitting now, we've submitted our permits to the Department of Health for an ash recycling project where we would then recover about 80% of the ash, so further reducing the amount of material that we have to dispose of. With respect to all the other things that are not burnable, there's recyclable materials, and we continue to advance, how much recycling we can do on the residential municipal solid waste side. The construction and demolition is another thing that's not our kuleana right now, but we continue to try to minimize the need for a landfill. There's always going to be some things that we're either going to have to put in a landfill or somehow ship to the mainland like we do hazardous waste. It's very, very expensive, and we all pay for it. So all these solutions that happen, we have to somehow pay for, right? And it's coming out of taxes. So just know we're doing everything we can, including in looking at all of the new technologies that come out. And so whenever the new technology folks come to us and say they'll do something for free, we say, bring us the proposal. And if it's really free, we're interested. But really, there's no such thing as free, right? I mean, it just doesn't work that way. There's always going to be a tipping fee with any kind of process. Somebody has to collect money to be able to do the processing. So anyway, just know we continue, Senator, to look into all the opportunities, possibilities.
Right, just the last one about you guys have an orange fence, asking it to be removed, a temporary orange fence by Nanakuli residents for fishing and enjoying the beach. Native Hawaiians should have access to the beach. So I'm not sure if it,
Is that UK, Hal? Yep.
And then, here we go, Mayor.
Yeah, the fence was for our park closure for Uliaba beach cleanup, which started last week. I believe, mahalo to Councilmember Tupola's office for supporting us with that cleanup. I think the closure was ended yesterday, so the fence will be coming down. We do want to actually use that and recycle it for future work, but it should be coming down. While we had the closure, though, we did have access areas because people could still traverse and fish and whatever.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Senator. Thank you. Appreciate the questions. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
You have encouraged me to come to the town hall meeting. I've watched all of you on television, and I says this is the first time that we can come and people are listening. My concern is probably very frivolous for you.
What's your name, ma'am?
My name is Donna Awana.
Hello, Donna.
I am a graduate of Waianae High School. I've lived on the local side of the island for practically all of my life, except for 20 years that I lived on the mainland. And after my husband passed away, I came back home, and we bought before he passed away, we bought a home in Makakilo. He passed away, and I found myself living with my mother in Nanakuli again. And I said, Nanakuli, here I am, But it's home. And all of the things that I find that my mother was concerned about on living on a young homestead road, the home that she bought in 1964 with my dad, is still relevant today. And like I say, it might be very frivolous to you, but it is of concern to me. And the first issue, and I heard this on the police addressed it, that they don't have enough police officers to monitor the safety checks and the registration. So I did. And on my way to Tamura's store, I says, I'm going to take 15 cars, and I'm going to check how many don't have safety checks.
Donna, I don't want to cut you short. First of all, we know the statistics. We know how many registrations have expired, how many safety checks have not been done. We have all of those numbers. We know how many cars are on the road. We know all of that.
Yes, I know you do, but it's still the same situation.
Okay, we're addressing it, but what's your question?
My question is, when will we address it? Because I feel sometimes if I don't pay my registration and safety check, I can get away with some money.
Yeah.
You know, so...
Yeah, except the potential...
But I would be the first to get ticketed.
Well, it's also the potential liability that you run.
That's right.
You know,
and it's a weapon. The car that you're driving without a registration and safety check is a weapon. But my point is that most of these people that are driving without safety check and registration, they are the hazards on the road. And my second concern is that on a young Homestead Road since 1964, my aunts, my cousins who live all on that road have petitioned, have voiced concern of putting safety bumps because it's a very hazardous road. I ask that whoever is in charge of that, not just a young Homestead Road, but the roads that are really busy should be looked at. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Donna. You know, I think that might be it. The Homestead Road. I don't know if it's Ed, if it's you, Roger. Who wants to take a shot at that, putting speed bumps? You going to go out tonight and do it? Good.
Ed would.
Ed would, yes.
And if it's a state road, you know, we will work with Ed to get, and we've done a lot on the coast already in terms of speed humps. And I have to give a shout out to the State Department of Transportation, to Ed Sniffen, who has been our partner in helping us get speed humps put in, not in 3 or 4 years, but in 3 or 4 months in some cases. Yeah. So we put a lot in some of the roads out here that we want to put more speed control in. We need speed cushions, which are a little bit different. They're more forgiving to fire trucks, to buses, and to those things. And we are actively looking at several projects here. But I'll take your information down too and make sure my team includes that. Again, we do it down here because so many of the roads are on state property that we work very closely with the State Department of Transportation.
So, Donna, that means we're going to get your specific contact information, and we'll follow up with you on that. You know, I don't know if you know how many streets are on the island of Oahu. These are the things you get in touch with when you become mayor of the team. And I'm not going to throw it out for a guess. I'll just tell you, we have more than 8,000 streets on the island of Oahu. More than 8,000 streets. If we did nothing else but just try to fix the potholes and pave and everything else, it would be a Herculean task just on that alone. So, and it's not a perfect world out there, but I do think there's been an incredible increase in putting in speed bumps of late, unlike anything I can ever remember. And so there's a real sensitivity there in trying to keep everything safe, especially in neighborhoods. But we'll get your contact information. We will follow up. And James, we will follow up with you as well. Okay? We will do that, sir. All right? Go ahead. Remember what I said at the beginning? We're just going to tell you folks the truth. It may not be what you want to hear, but we would rather be truthful and as honest as we can be. Okay? Sir.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Bobby Carrick, and first off, thank you folks for all your commitment and hard work. I just have a simple question on behalf of the racing community.
Yes.
What does our future look like, or what does it hold as far as a county-owned facility and a venue for us?
Okay. Who wants to take the shot at that? Mike will take it. I'll talk about it too, because I appreciate the question, Bobby. I think it's come up at every town hall meeting. This guy sitting here is behind all of that. We know that, but that's okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. So we're actively working with the Navy to acquire property. It's called Bracklands. You might have heard that before, but it's basically excess Navy land at Kalailoa that is being made available to the city and county. And we want to use a part of that land for a county racetrack. That's the goal. And Lee Cobian has been working very closely with us to help us through that process. The goal right now is to take title within the next, I'm being very optimistic, 30 days to this property. Part of the challenge is that before the Navy turned over title, they located PFAS on the property. And we were very fortunate the mayor and I working with the Navy, the Assistant Secretary of the Navy, we said if we take this land before the extent of the PFAS is known, if PFAS ends up on the CERCLA list and there has to be work to remove it, will you agree to do that versus us? And the Navy wrote us a letter and said yes. I think it's the first time they've ever done this. The Navy wrote us a letter and said yes, that they would continue to be responsible after title came to the city. So we're moving forward with taking title to that property, and then we'll go through the planning process to see how quickly we can get a racetrack built. And where Lee is helping us is Lee is identifying some grants that are out there that we might be able to get from the federal government that would help us get through the planning and the design and construction process as quickly as possible. But we're committed to build this for the community.
Bobby, I want to underscore, we are committed to building it. We need it. We should have it. We know that there are thousands of car enthusiasts. Part of the thing that's been great about working with the Navy is they want it for their servicemen as well to come over, because most of those guys are car enthusiasts as well. It's a great opportunity for them. Lee, go ahead.
All right, I just want to say thanks again for the Motorsports people for coming. I really appreciate it. Now, a lot of you guys came because there's still people who are trying to get a private track to own. And so this is the reason most of these guys came, because they want to emphasize, we want this track, park, Motorsports Park, to be like the neighbor islands under the city and county, a public track that not one person is the owner controlling everything. Are you guys good with that? Okay, because an entity just got a $130,000 grant to look for a place for a possible track, for a private track. Okay, now we have a commitment from the mayor. We have the property. I am working right now on a grant, $20 million, that's specifically for recreational purposes. It says community support facilities near a military installation to enhance support facilities, including recreational parks, and that's including also motorsports activities. I don't want to get too into, but last year the Department of Defense put some of their defense money into public recreations for locations near military, for public family use and military use. And so we're going to be applying for that $20 million. The way the application eligibility is written, I couldn't make it any better to get it. It was just, it's insane. So I want everybody to understand, because that's the big issue. Are we going to get a private track or a public track? Are we going to try again for Parcel 9 or the feedlot or maybe somewhere out here? That's what everybody has to understand and support, a public county park like the one in Maui, the one in Big Island, and the one in Kauai. And I just want to emphasize, if you guys need any information, you know how to get in touch with me. Okay? I appreciate it. Lee Cobian.
Lee Cobian, thank you. I'll just, one final word. You can have it. Thank you, Bobby. One final word. There's an entity that is supposedly, and I don't want to, just so you know, we're operating on a parallel track. There are some guys who claim they've put up $125 million. I attended the meeting at Par, Hawaii, to build one in Campbell Industrial Park. They had to come up with another $300 to $400 million. It's big money. Been a lot of talk. We'll see. They said they have the money, whatever. That would be a separate deal. And what they want is to go over to the public. We're not relying on that, but I'm just letting you know that we're going full steam ahead. Mike said we're working with the Navy. We've identified the BRAC lands. We're doing everything we can at the highest level. That is all real, okay? And so just know that, all right? And the last thing I'll say, just anecdotally before you, in our town halls, all last year, the last 11 and throughout even up to tonight, our 7th town hall of the year, one of the real common denominators, even though every area, every district has different concerns, how people play, the things that they do for recreation, the meaning and the value of parks and programs is constant, and we get that, and we're trying to do everything we can to add joy to our communities and hope for our communities by making these things become a reality. It's that, I know you see it as a racetrack, we see it much bigger than that, okay? Just know that, and we want to do that. We really want to make that happen. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, my name is Blessing Star Dela Cruz. I'm up here on a personal level, actually not political, but I do want you guys to give you guys self clapping hands because you guys are doing great. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Mayor, I really like you. I hope you run for the next level. But I'm up here as a person.
I'm just trying to be mayor. I'm happy being mayor. We're hoping to get another 4 years here. This is a great gang of people. Go ahead.
I want to address actually the issue of homelessness. I need to correct some of you guys. It's not homelessness, it's houselessness.
Yes.
Majority of our people that are on the beach and not without houses. And we need to address that, especially with the low housing thing. And we don't want to push them out into where empty homes are, because then that comes legality for the federal offenses come along, and at city and county level. So I don't know where you guys' terminologies with the legal law people. I don't know which one.
Well, the term houseless is actually more correct.
Correct.
Because I know,
Right.
especially in a community like this, because I've met with a lot of people, they'll tell you, though, you know, I'm not homeless. I don't have a house.
Right.
Okay, I am part of this community, and I want to stay in this
Correct.
community. We're addressing it. Look, I just got back from Washington, D.C. last night. I went there as part of a task force of mayors. I was invited to go because of the work we're doing here, to ask for more money. I had my hand out for $52 million more over the last couple of days.
52 million?
52 million more.
Can we address it to
More.
the house?
Yes,
houseless?
all that's going to go to
Then
that.
we also can have mental health issues be addressed.
We know that. And that-
Now our criminal
Yes.
activities that's on the rise on this
Yes.
side of the portion, so our community don't need to react and count on to continuing privately.
We are so aware of this, and we're doing everything we possibly can. We can't build fast enough. We're hoping, in collaboration with the state, that we will get more mental health facilities. We've already opened up the first ever in Hawaii. We're about to do that again a second time for another 27, maybe 30 beds in a building that we just bought, the old First Hawaiian Bank building on Baratania. We've got a core mobile crisis unit, which we want to expand the service. And whereas it is, we come out here. We're doing things differently than before, but we can't do it fast enough, and we can't
Can
seem
we
to
have
do
more
enough.
on this side, because majority of our community here are connected to families here, and we like to
Yes,
stay closer.
they wanna stay here.
We don't want to go Honolulu.
No.
And we don't want to service there in Honolulu.
No, we're not
This
interested
is
in
on
doing
this
that
side.
either. We understand that.
And-
We're not.
and, I understand you went to Washington, but Hawaiian locals are different from Washington upstates.
Yeah, but that's
Yeah.
where the money was.
No,
Here was my attitude, and I said it,
understand.
and they know this. I said, if they're giving out money in Washington, D.C., I don't want Hawaii to be in the back of the line. That's why I went. I didn't want to go. This guy here kicked me in the butt to go.
Thank
I said, if you think I feel like flying an economy for 2 days to go all the way to Washington and come all the way back, but we did that. I'm telling you, we're going to do everything we possibly can.
Awesome.
I promise you that.
Okay. Now, the federal funding comes from the federal housings and all that, right? Correct? Now, is that different from the state? Because I don't want the city and county be butting head with the state.
No, we're not butting heads. We're collaborating with the state. The state has a couple of things going for it, because the Department of Health is lodged in the state. They have access to monies and resources. The governor has implemented a tuition repayment plan up to $50,000 a year so you can hire medical health clinician practitioners. They awarded 492 just in December. We're combining our resources in facilities, ability to pick up people, take them somewhere, and then be able to treat them. That's what we're doing now.
Okay.
And we're doing it very aggressively. But there's so much to be done. It's you know. Good. Sam.
Aloha.
Aloha.
This is Sam Moku.
Hi, Sam.
To just kind of dovetail on what Mayor said, you know, my partnership with John Mizuno, who's the state homeless coordinator, we're working side by side. But I want to tell all the people on the west side, before we do anything on the west side, we're going to come ask permission first. Okay?
Thank you.
So just because, you know, we can doesn't mean we cannot just come over here and run over everybody, right? So we're going to make sure, and I'll make sure that John knows that when we come out here and we do some project, a shelter or whatever we need to do with drug rehab or other projects, we're going to make sure we let you guys know first. And I think that's the most important part. But the state has the money. They got choke money. And that's where we're going to get our support from. Okay?
Thank you.
Mahalo.
Thank you, Bess. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor,
Sir.
David Corona. I'm on the longtime resident, neighborhood board member. I sit on the housing and
great.
transportation committees.
Thank you, David, for doing that.
So I'm going to be as fast as I can here
Go
because I
ahead.
know we've got plenty.
You're
of people here
not
that
going to
still
read
wanna
the
talk.
book. You're going to get
no,
to a
I'm gonna
question.
see, it's
I got
not
it.
that much,
Okay.
is it?
I know, it's not that much,
All right.
sir. Go ahead.
So I just want to say for government, I used to work for the government. I retired from the government because I got tired of the bureaucracy. So I've been stuck in the DDC, DTS, and DFM loop, okay? And it's a little frustrating, but we're working on it, okay? But streetlight engineer, have you heard that term before with the city? So there's a lot of us here that live in Maili, and we've been asking for years, over a decade, to have a left-hand turn signal on one of the streets out there. State finally agreed to it. State's finally going to put it in, but they said, oh, wait, we can't do it because we need the streetlight engineer from the city to come out here and do it. Set it up. So that's, well, I know you're going to get to that. So most of us does DTS tonight. So I want to address that. That's my question.
Can I answer that one right now? I got the email today.
Okay.
From the state.
Okay.
Asking for that, and we've got it in process already.
Okay. So within a week we'll have a left-hand turn signal. It's safety, man.
It is a safety. It's not quite as easy as that is, but we're going to work with Robin. Robin contacted me today.
Okay, all right.
He's on record. He's on television saying this, live TV.
Okay. Opticom. Now, out on the neighborhood board, one of the residents brought up issues with the HFD having a hard time coming out. As you know, HFD is located within the homestead. And to exit out during an emergency, during high traffic volume times, they cannot make a left-hand turn or get onto Farrington Highway without a functioning Opticom device. I spoke to the State Department of Transportation who confirmed that the device is transmitting as it should. However, the actual device is inside the vehicle, which may not be working. What I'm asking is, what is it going to take to be able to get them to be able to activate the Opticom, get the left hand, get the light to change so they can make a left hand or right hand to get on Farrington?
David, it's a good question. Sir, Reed?
David, aloha. So as far as the HFD and that turn in that area, the Opticom I'm sure would enhance it, but regardless if that is working or not, we're going to take every single safety precaution. So we're going to make sure that it's completely clear, that there's no pedestrians, that the cars aren't coming. We do have our sirens and our horn that will make sure that everybody is safe and at the same time respond expeditiously.
And let me add a little bit more too. That one of the projects that we're doing right now, we're doing it in collaboration and cooperation with the State Department of Transportation, is we're going to be replacing over 900 intersection traffic controllers with new, up-to-date, state-of-the-art. Some of our traffic controllers are 25 years old, and they don't have the capabilities that the newest ones have. One of the ways that we can deal with Opticom-type treatment is that we're looking at changing the architecture and the way we do that, using GPS instead of, because Opticom is a straight line device, and when a fire truck leaves a fire station, ideally what you want to do is you want to know what that path of travel for the fire truck is going to be. So we have had discussions with the chief and others to look at that. We're doing it in cooperation with the state. Also for this coast, most of our traffic signals beyond Kapolei are not connected traffic signals at this point. But we have another project where we're going to be extending our connected traffic signals that go back to our Joint Traffic Management Center. We're going to be going through a process right now with the state to extend our fiber optics all the way down to Makaha. And while we do that, it's easy for us to add on high-speed wireless internet connections, which we're going to make sure that all of our towers on the beaches have better access through high-speed Wi-Fi and all the beaches and all the public facilities. So that's the project that we are just underdoing right now.
All right, thank you, sir. Cooling project, Maili, I went out there for Earth Day. The trees are great out there. Thank you very much. I hope they grow quickly and get lots of shade, so thank you. And Mayor, one final thing for DPP. On the Housing Zoning Committee, one of the big things we like to do is we like to make sure we are abreast, we're aware of the rules, of the revised ordinances to be able to address developers coming in and wanting to build properties, and like addressing the HFD, the water, electric, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So what I'm asking is, Mayor, can the DPP provide a briefing on like zoning and what's the processes for developers, so the neighborhood community members or the people sitting in the committees can be more abreast of what's going on, and that way we can help you, help us be able to make proper decisions. When
Well, what would work for you? How would that look? What would that look like? Dawn's nodding her head.
Yeah. So what it looked like is DPP providing a brief to us and explain to us, I'm a developer, I want to develop something, I'm going to come in your neighborhood, this is what I got to do. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I sat on the sustainability plan CPAC as a CPAC member, and one of our biggest things was the check mark. A developer has to come in and just talk to the neighborhood board. As long as that check in the box is done, they just keep on going through. So I want to be able to liaison with the DPP and be able to bring critical issues up that the community has and make sure it does just not that checkbox that it can be addressed. And I want training on it. So can you provide training, or someone from your department provide training to the community or during a committee meeting?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's very important. We're trying to be more educational and provide awareness about what we do and how projects come through, what are the requirements, et cetera. So I think that's something that's part of what we're trying to do as a department. Whether it's, we can talk about where, at what forums, et cetera, but even at the council committee hearings, right, they often have informational briefings. So I would tune into those, or even ask your council member, maybe you want a specific informational briefing from DPP on a specific...
I got a better idea. Why don't you just come back and work for the city? We said earlier, we're recruiting. We're recruiting, baby.
I want her to come out to the community and talk to us.
Yeah, you're a smart guy, David. You're a smart guy. I appreciate the questions. Thank you.
So I can work with you, then I can...
Sure.
Yeah,
If you have specific...
we'll follow up.
Yeah.
Don't get your... David, thank you. That was a lot of stuff for like that 3 lines you had scribbled there. Sir, how are you?
Aloha, Mayor and staff. Mahalos for your efforts in managing your program responsibilities. I know it's a tough job.
What's your name, sir?
My name is Gaylord Dishimura. I grew up in Waihawa and Wailua. I resided in Punchbowl, Pearl City, Aiea. I came out to Nanakuli in '74 when I was employed at Barbers Point Crash Rescue.
Wow.
The reason why I chose to come out here was it was cheap then to buy a house.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm afraid of is that one day I'll become homeless because I cannot afford the land tax. I'm not sure if there's any efforts being taken into consideration about managing the land tax for long-time residents in Hawaii. We're all going to be affected by it. We lost our lands before when the Queen was trying to manage it. I mean, till today, I see Hawaiians cannot even afford to purchase Hawaiian homelands because they don't make enough money. And when I was growing up in Wailua, the property values went up. People who retired couldn't afford it. They had to sell. I see every so often in a newspaper, people get foreclosed because they cannot pay the land tax. I'm thinking, when I walk down the beach, I see older people over there. I'm wondering, am I going to be the next guy on the beach because the values are going up because of people out of state coming in, buying the property? It affects all of us. What I'd like to see, President Trump says he like America be America again. I want to see Hawaii be Hawaii again.
Okay.
Hawaii where police officers don't get shot at. Kopunas is respected.
All right, Gaylord, you raised something that's very serious. It's a great question, and it's a real concern. And Andy Kawano, Director of Budget and Fiscal Services, he handles a lot of tax stuff. Why don't you?
Thank you, Mayor. Gaylord, thank you for your comments and questions. I think it's important that you know that the tax system is a complicated system, and the information that we use to do the valuations are sales, property sales, because it's readily available, and we can independently validate it when we put it in the system. But you're right, because the land is scarce, you know, we don't have enough parcels for homes, and we have high demand, the prices go up. And the prices went up right after COVID, right? Because interest rates were low and demand was high and prices went up. So I think it's important that you make sure that you have your exemption, homeowner's exemption.
Yeah, I applaud you for that, but
yeah,
it's not enough.
And are you doing your low-income tax credit?
I'm not sure about that. Thanks.
Please call us. I'll give you my phone number, because I want to make sure you're applying for that. Because what that does is it caps how much tax you pay, real property tax you pay, based on your income.
I know veterans, they're exempt from that if they...
Veterans have their own
They
exemption.
get
Veterans, there's a handicap exemption, and so on. So you
What
have
about the old timers like me? We get so many. You guys gonna be there next. You're here, grade 2.
I'm there already.
You're gonna be when you retire.
Gaylord, because we only have 25 minutes left. Let's set you up with Andy. Let's see if we can't do
I'll get your
everything
number.
we can. He'll get with you now.
I'll help you.
One day something happens. I'm counting on you guys. You guys are talented people. That's why you guys work for us.
That's right. Thank you,
All I
Gaylord.
know is Hawaiian values is accepted around the world. People like Hawaiian values.
I agree.
And if we do, we take care of people, we take care of land, we take care of water, our life would be much easier. We take care of each other.
That's right.
Thank you.
Agreed. Thank you, Gaylord. Yes, ma'am.
Aloha, I'm Kalei Salcedo. This is why I stand in front. It's my kupunas and the future of our children. I fight for them because they cannot afford. They are being forced to choose whether to pay the bills, the medication, how do they get food. Believe me, I see that every day. You can ask my husband. I'm at the store, kupuna putting back bread. Little small bag rice, sugar. I tell the cashier, put it in, I'll pay for it. Whatever they grab, I'll pay for it. It's called aloha. And you don't get that nowadays. I want to embrace you folks. You folks all in office. We need you folks' help as much as you need our help. Because we are the one that's voting. Okay? I would like to see you folks come up more before voting times come out. You know? We're up here, I'm up here talking for the kupunas and the future generation of the children. Because that rail, my grandchildren and their children are going to pay for it. They're going to be paying for it. I will not be able to help my kids to afford to send my grandchildren to college because I already spent enough money sending them to be self-sustainable. The
Okay,
reason
so
I'm
what
here,
is your question?
My question is, I hope the city and the state can do an MOA, work and address the homeless, houseless, whatever you want to call it, because it is negative impacting all of us, okay? And we all got to pay for it. It's not just the city and state, it's the taxpayers. We got to pay for it. I'm here because we don't have our voice in our side. We have lame ducks in our state office, lame ducks. They know the issue we face. I get more outcome with the city than I do with the state. That's the problem. Okay. So if you folks can beat a little hammer and let them know.
I can promise you we're trying to be a big hammer. You know, and not all of it is state, not all of it is state, not all of it is city and county. There's federal monies to help. It's not all just taxpayers.
Right.
I said again, that's why I
Taxpayers.
just got back from Washington. There's a lot of federal money. We're trying to grab every dollar we can get. You know? I'll tell you something, two things you may or may not be aware. One, first of all, we're not up here because it's election season. We did this last year, and we're doing it now. It just so happens our term is coming up, our first term this year. Has nothing to do with that. Okay? Secondly, when COVID hit, we got federal monies came into the state. There was, and Amy Asselby is here, and certainly Cal could talk about this. We had one of the best programs in the whole country. We distributed over $300 million of federal money to more than 22,000 families, many of whom were in our most needy areas, didn't speak English, didn't have technology, and we were one of the top cities in the country doing it. And we did that, and we figured it out for everything that you just said about who we are as a people. And I got a letter from the U.S. Treasury saying it was the best city, third best city in America doing that. And every chance we've had, and there are other things I could tell you, we're drawing down on every dollar and spending every dollar that we can get our hands on to make it a better place. So we're saying the same thing. I can appreciate your frustration. Hawaii has changed. And we live in a very uncertain world right now. And the amount of fear that's out there is real. And we know that. We feel that every day. But the one thing that I've learned in this job, you can't do it fast enough. You know, and it's all I can tell you is we have good plans. We're doing unprecedented things when it comes to housing, when it comes to homelessness, what we're trying to do for public safety, what we're trying to do for our beaches and our places where people go and they live. We're trying to do it as best we can. This stuff was decades in the making. And I'm proud of what this team has done in just the last couple of years. And I believe that the best is yet to come. We hear you, we hear that voice. We embrace, we know that.
I am proud of our first responders we have.
Yes.
HPD, EMTs, many of our first responders.
Yes.
I am proud because the negative impact is being put up on them.
Yes.
But that's what I'm saying. I'm proud. And I'm proud of a lot of your officials that I worked it with because we get the phone call. We get the phone call. We don't sit down and wait. I go to the state capitol. I go to the city hall. You know that. Mm-hmm. And I thank you, Mayor, for coming out to Kehau to see the negative impact we was facing.
Yeah,
and
welcome.
I just hope we can get more positive instead of negative.
I can tell you this, we're not all here tonight to do anything but make it better. I don't know how else to say it.
I'm going to hold you to that, sir.
Hold me to it. Hold
I
me to
will.
it. Thank you.
And I know you're
Thank
two
you.
right ones. I will hold it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Patty Taroya.
Thank you. They gave me the spot, but I thank you, Patty Kahanamoku Taruya. Thank you so much. Thank you guys for letting me speak. I need to call up God Forgives Bad Boys, Bad Girls, Mana too. This is a whole Patty and Mana thing. And what we wanted to do was really thank the Mr. Mayor. We wanted to thank the administration. This past March, we had the 5th annual Prince Kuhio Festival. Thank you to our managing director, Mr. Formy. You are so awesome. And I just I don't want to forget anybody because we wanted to thank the HPD, D8, District D8, CPT team that helped us in the community to have this positive event. First time on Kalanaʻanaʻoli Beach Park to recognize Prince Jonah Kuhio Kalanaʻanaʻoli. And so because this is the largest homestead in the world, we had the opportunity to co-sponsor it with the city administration. Fire department, thank you so much to the chief and your team for helping us with the permits because in the first time we had a great fireworks show. And the community loved it. And so it was bringing people together in this community. When we talk about crime and increase, we need to bring them together in such a positive venue. And it's because of the city and the mayor, it happened. The mayor's cultural and arts department was very helpful. And I just want to address everybody that next year, 2025, I know you're going to get in office. We're having it on March 22nd, 2025, right, community? So we want to continue to celebrate Prince Jonah Kuhio
We want to do that.
on Department of Hawaiian Homestead land and acknowledge this. I also wanted to aloha Lloyd Yoninaka, NCO. I served for 29 years on the board, and he was missing him because of his personality. His goal to help the board system is just awesome there. So thank you for your team, and I got my partner here, so I better let him speak a little.
Thank you, Patty. Thank you.
Thank you. I just wanted to mahalo you, Uncle Rick. To come out here on the west side and bring your whole team to answer any question that the community has, even to the point where you don't even know what the community would ask or how they're going to react and how they're going to behave. So it's a great leader, right? I mean, I've been a leader in my past in the world, and to come out here and to hear the concerns from the community is bravery, is bold, right? I never heard of it, of a mayor coming out into not just our community, but in every community. And so, I'm so blessed to have you as well. I mean, the mayor, Uncle Rick not only come to the town hall meetings, Uncle Rick actually is on the front lines. Uncle Rick actually walked with us at the CPT program in the neighborhoods. He's on the foot, boots to ground. And so for me, for somebody who is in the bushes, in the trenches, on the highways and the byways, I take notice of that, Uncle Rick, of who's actually on the front lines, right? Who's actually putting their feet to the ground and walking with the community and giving the community an opportunity to build a relationship, right? And so, hey, Uncle Rick, I get one question about for you since you brought everybody here, right?
Thank you, Mono. Go ahead.
So I get this question, and I always want to, I said it before in a couple of town hall meetings, but you know, for me, for being locked up 26 years and participated in that lifestyle, right? You know, because I do the neighborhood security walk, I said this a few times, but nobody listens, right? Because I understand. I also took a survey, right, from a couple guys that still live on the streets, right? And I told them, if you saw a neighborhood security walk sign, neighborhood security watch sign in the community, what would you do? You know what they told me? They told me I would split, man. I wouldn't even stay in that community. So I don't know who can answer that. I said it before because I know it takes money. They got to put the cement in the ground, the pole up. They got to make the signs. It takes money. But the thing is now, you're hearing it from somebody who lived that life from that. Because even me, in my world, when I saw the sign, right, I didn't want to do nothing in that neighborhood. So if you was to invest in these neighborhood security watch signs and put them up in a neighborhood where the community is participating in the walks and maybe inviting Uncle and his staff to participate with the walks and putting these signs up, I can almost guarantee you that you would have less crime in your community because these people is on drugs and the drugs intensifies them 10 times more. So when they see these signs, you're talking from a guy who saw these signs before, I left the neighborhood. So I don't know who can answer my questions. You know what I mean? I don't know if we're going to do a fundraiser.
I think we're going to take it on the really, Mana, I'm not kidding. You know me. I'm going to take it on the serious consideration. You know what? This would be a great test site to do that. Yeah. I said some provocative things up here tonight on television, okay? I did. I talked about taking back a community. We talked about public safety, all of that. And, you know, I would be willing to figure out how we could do that just to see if it really can work. Because anything we can do would be good. Okay?
I think a good test site would be right here in Nanakuli to see if that.
I hear you.
Yeah, amen.
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 I love it. All right.
Thank you.
All right, take care. Thank you, Mono. Thank you. Thank you both for those kind words. Thank you.
Aloha. I'm Chris Everett. I am the executive director for Project Nehemiah Hawaii and also a pastor at International River of Life Christian Center with Pastor Eddie Romo and Stella. This year is the second year that we are holding a free Hope Awareness Community event over at Nanakuli Village. I invited you, but you said no. So what we are doing...
When is it?
August 17th. Over at the Nanakuli. It's coming up.
How do you know I said no?
Because I got your email.
That's not from me.
I invited you. I invited a lot of dignitaries.
Okay.
So we have many dignitaries and many representatives that is coming in support. What are we doing? What are we bringing awareness to? The elephant in the room, sexploitation and human trafficking. My question is, can you verify in 2021, 64% of tips that was called in, zero prosecution, and out of that 64%, 46% is in the families, is in the homes in Hawaii. Can you verify that in Waianae, that it is a hub for human trafficking? Can you verify that last year, the ending of October, there were children that was found in the container of Waianae Valley Road? Can you verify? Mayor, do you know about these things that is taking place here on the Waianae
I know
Road?
that sex trafficking is very real. Okay. I don't know the percentages like you just said.
Okay.
But I know it's something that's very, very wrong with our society.
Okay. I come out to the Waianae. I live in Waikele. I come out here on Wednesdays, 3 in the morning, to come do prayer with our women's home, who came out of prison, who's restoring from their lifestyle. There are prostitutes, not one, not two, but I saw 4 over by the Sack and Save out there, prostitutes. And I've been seeing them more and more and more, and those things are not being addressed. So can you verify that human trafficking? I was just told 2 weeks ago that Hawaii is now, the United States has become the #1. On the Waianae Coast, it has become the number 3 in human trafficking. Thank you.
Well, I can promise you this, we're going to look into that statistic. Not that the statistic matters, because we know it goes on. But that's the first time I've heard Hawaii is number 1. That's the first time. Sir.
I'm just reading papers, so I don't have to add. I just have a few. Anybody here from the, I'm sorry, anybody here from DPP or the prosecuting attorney's office?
The director of DPP is right here, Don Takeuchi Apuna. Nobody's here from the prosecutor's office. Not from the prosecutor's office. Who would you like?
No, because the document, if you read the document, I would have to give a copy at least to the prosecuting attorney's office.
I can make sure Steve Arm gets this.
Okay, and then the state attorney general's office. So my only question really pertains to this program that's in nationwide. Hawaii doesn't have it, but they have it on Maui. They have it on the island of Hawaii. I'm being passionate. My name is Paul Ayo, former law enforcement officer, HPD. Retired from King County Sheriff's Department, Washington, State of Washington, for 43 years as a police officer. Veteran, now on the Nanakuli Neighborhood Board, one of the members on the board. I'm in the Education Committee as well as the Public Safety and Health Committee. So the 2 documents that I presented has to do with a program called the School Resource Officer Program. Maui has it. Matter of fact, Tupola called a meeting for us on January 27th. We had a combined meeting with Maui, the high schools here on our side, the West Coast, as well as, I believe, the Department of Education, Mr. Hayashi. So I introduced, or not introduced, but I was part of that process of talking about getting the program started. I wish for us, Mayor, that you can get the people in places, the police chief, you yourself, the Corporation Counsel, the State Attorney General's office, the Department of Education, collaborate, get together, and maybe get our program working. If you can run it through OJT, you can run it to every place you want in the federal government. It will tell you it works. The recidivism of children getting back into crime goes down. Crime in the cities go down because of juvenile crimes. And that's what it works. It works well in all schools.
You know, Paul, about 10 hours ago, I made the same speech you're making right now with Ricky Ellison on the Youth Impact Program, of which a lot of kids from Waianae and Nanakuli participated in, about how important it is to do that. What Paul's talking about is police officers who would be in the school and assigned to select schools in certain areas, not every school. They would do 3 things. They would do law enforcement, obviously, law-related counseling, and law-related educational presentations. We'll look at this. And again, I'm not going to fall back on the fact we have a shortage of officers. We have 1,800 officers. We're short some 425 now. I don't know the exact count. But we'll take a look at this. I promise you that, Paul. Thank you for this. Okay? Sir, we've got, what have we got, 10 minutes left? 10's good.
Yeah, I'll take up
7.
9.
We have 7 left. 7 left. That's good.
Okay,
No, we're live TV over here. We're going to stick around afterwards, though.
Okay,
Go ahead.
good evening.
Good
My name
evening.
is Dwayne Bautista. And,
Hi, Dwayne.
I know we talked about Bill 39, and then we just want to make sure we want to push it and try to pass it again. And then 2 more things. And then,
Tell the audience what Bill 39 is.
Bill 39.
Into the microphone. They can hear you.
Bill 39 was dealing with the landfill. It's piggyback with the Act 73, like how Brother Ed talked about it. But I just here to let you guys know about the acres that are out there. If you look on the city and county website, it shows the possible landfills. And if you look at the website, 6,000 acres usable land on the website. On the west coast, from Waianae Gulch to the end, Makaha or Waianae, we only have 566 usable. So that's something as Westsiders we should look at as taking everything out from the west side. I know the mayor said nothing on the west side, like he said earlier in the beginning, but that's something to look forward to, that
don't burn up the 566 that usable is on top of the website. That's a little
Okay.
bit.
We
And
got
then, and then the last one is the orange fences.
Yes.
Thank you guys for cleaning up, but maybe in the future we can save a little bit of money. Maybe we put signs every 200 yards rather than the orange fence that cover the beach. Because at the other beaches that clean, they don't block off the beach. That's an eyesore. I mean, if you look on the DLNR, it tells you about public land access or beach
Yeah.
access.
Yeah.
The beach access is supposed to be covered or stopped
Yeah.
only to prevent the vegetation or
Yeah.
But I see, but the positive was for fix. But
Yes.
on the other end, we can use that money for the orange fence. Maybe we can fix the bathrooms out there from depots to all the way down. That's something I have to think
Okay.
about for the next cleanup.
All right.
Thank you.
Point well taken. Thank you. Here we go. Sir.
My name is Albert Chapera.
Your name
And
is
I live-
Albert.
Yes, and I live out at Waianae. My problem is this. Where I live, at the end of Waianae Valley Road, they use the little access road that's going up to Kumaipo, right across Pump Station 1, as a garbage dump. Whenever the convenience center gets filled up,
Okay.
they use that road as a garbage
They
dump.
meaning people come and use it.
Yes.
The city's not using it.
And I called the city, I called your office, they said they would send someone out, they never did. They gave me a bunch of numbers to call, and I called all those numbers, and nobody has come out to clean that. They said that it was a private road, but that road was turned it over to the
Okay.
city,
Albert?
and nobody came. So how can we get it cleaned?
Okay. Great question. Roger.
Yeah, so I'll get with you after, and we'll see what we can do. I know that every once in a while we do clean the road that goes to the convenience center, but I think this is a different,
It
it's a
goes
different
all the
road.
way up to the end of the valley,
Yeah.
and it's going up to the forest reserve.
Yeah.
The only person that has helped me and has helped the 9 people that live up that valley is the bottled water supply. Everybody else has give a lot of mouth, but no action, including the city and county.
Yeah, so in general, what we try to do is help sponsor community cleanups, and we'll do that.
Community cleanup, the one has helped us the most is walking.
Is
From Pine Ridge.
Yeah,
He
yep.
has donated equipment,
Yeah.
time, and hauled away everything and taken it to the landfill.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Henry Silva.
Yeah.
From Silver Struck.
Okay.
Yeah, so we participate, so the way we help on that is that we waive all the fees for the landfill.
Yes.
But basically, we don't really have crews that can go and do cleanups. So we rely on community, and Councilmember Tupola, has sponsored things, and we fully support.
Albert?
Will help. as we
Roger,
can.
since we're going to be here, we're not leaving, we have to get off the air. I want to close the program. We'll stay here, Albert. We're going to come back to you. I mean, you can go sit down if you like. We're going to have Mana close out the program. I just want to thank you on behalf of the team for coming out tonight and being with us, giving us your time, giving us your manau. And I promise you, we came to listen and to answer to the best of our ability. Mana, Pastor Allen, the floor is yours.
Well, I want to thank all of you guys for being here tonight. And as you can tell, we got a lot of great people out here in our community that care. Thank you for coming out here. Mayor, I think we need Lori for an extension on her contract. She's done such a great job to restore hope, bringing all the federal monies here. Major Beckley, HPD, doing a great job. Can you imagine what she can do with more officers and filling that building with more assets? Looking forward to working with Sam, Moko, and a lot of great things. Mana mentioned some great things about the sign. Wasn't that a great idea? Here's the deal. Since all your people are here, I'll buy the concrete, I'll dig the holes, I'll buy the poles, I'll get the fence. Just help me get the permits and put it on. All of us can be able to work together and make a kako thing to make Pua Avenue the safest place in this valley for now. So as I said, thank you so much. No, I'm going to buy it. We'll buy it all. You guys just sign the paper, make sure we can do it without breaking the law, right? So, but thank you guys so much. Appreciate you guys. Mahalo.
Let's close out in prayer. Dear Jesus, we thank you, Jesus. We thank you for tonight with all the vala'au and mana'o and all the concerns from the people. But God Almighty, we thank you for a great leader, Uncle Rick. We thank you for him, God. We thank you how he goes into the community and he hears the people's concern and how his door is wide open to the community and the people, not only here in Nanakuli, but all over the island. So God, we pray blessings upon his life. We pray blessings upon all our leaders right here who can answer every question and every concern in the community. We pray for the people on the west side for coming out and supporting our great leader, Uncle Rick. And God, we just pray for safe travels tonight. Have your way, God. Continue to bless our leadership. Put our Uncle Rick in for mayor another 4 years in the name of Jesus. In the name of Jesus. And we thank you, God. Have your way. In Jesus' mighty name I pray. Amen. Amen. Amen.